There are a lot of Avengers Endgame theories floating around, and for good reason. The movie debuts on April 26th and is one of the most anticipated films in recent memory. The few trailers we have also only give the slimmest of hints as what's in store. However, we at Behind the Screen have a pretty good idea of what the remaining heroes are up to, and how they're going to bring down Thanos. In Endgame, the Avengers will make their own set of Infinity Stones, use them to defeat the Mad Titan, and restore half of all life to the universe. Okay, this might sound as crazy as a talking, walking raccoon, but this theory only makes more sense the more you think about it. You better put on one of those fancy new Avengers suits, because we're going all the way down to the quantum realm to prove this theory. Even with the remaining Marvel heroes working together, they don't stand much of a chance against Thanos. Sure, they're some of the most powerful people in the universe, especially with the addition of Captain Marvel, but they just don't measure up to the Infinity Gauntlet. Even if it did get a little singed in the snap, the Infinity Gauntlet makes Thanos the most powerful person in the universe by a long shot. He can alter reality in any part of the universe at any moment in time.
And it was beautiful.
He can literally erase the rest of the Avengers whenever he wants to. The only reason Thanos hasn't already is because he's too busy kicking back and enjoying that super chill farmer life. It also doesn't seem likely that the Avengers can best the villain the same way they did in the comics. In the 1991 Infinity Gauntlet comic, Thanos is only defeated after he's pushed into godhood. After defeating all of the Avengers, the most powerful beings in the universe challenge him. Their efforts are in vain though, as he easily defeats cosmic entities like Galactus and the Celestials. However, in the process, Thanos ascends to a higher plane of existence and his consciousness becomes one with the universe. He is reality, and he can shape the very fabric of existence however he sees fit. This leaves his body super vulnerable though, as now it's just a shell to channel the Infinity Stones as power. Seeing this opening, Nebula takes the gauntlet from Thanos' body and robs him of his overwhelming abilities. While this is a surprising and really good twist in the comics, it can't really happen in the MCU. For one thing, cosmic-level entities haven't really appeared in the Marvel Cinematic Universe yet, or at least they haven't been beyond a cameo. It doesn't really look like the remaining heroes have the power to push his spirit out of his body, or give him a reason to leave his corporal form.
That is, it was.
This means that the Avengers are going to have to find another way to push Thanos so hard that he attains a higher state of being, leaving his gauntlet defenseless. Right now, it seems like the only way to do that is with another set of Infinity Stones. Not only would this development fit with the comic source material, it would also align with the broader trends in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Thanos has done nothing but try to collect the Infinity Stones since he first appeared in the MCU. They were integral to his plan to eradicate half of all life, and his belief in that plan was nothing short of unwavering. He may have gotten a little gun-shy when he had to sacrifice Gamora to get the Soul Stone, but he pushed right through that hurdle and committed fully to his plan. This would make it the ultimate comeuppance for Thanos if the power he spent his life obtaining also brought his own demise. From a more meta perspective, the Infinity Stones have also been the biggest running plot element in the MCU thus far. Countless articles, videos, and wiki pages were dedicated to tracking the location and status of each of the stones. They were integral to making the Marvel Cinematic Universe as big of a success as what it is today. It would be the perfect send-off to this first era of the MCU if the remaining gathered another set of Infinity Stones and used them to defeat their greatest villain. After a decade of moving them from place to place, it'd be so satisfying to see the heroes use them at their full power. If anyone can defeat Thanos at his own game, it's the Avengers when they're backed into a corner and have nothing to lose. Now the only question is, how are the heroes going to get another set of Infinity Stones? Well, there are two possible answers to that question, and they're both a bit convoluted and a lot of fun. The first way the Avengers can get their own Infinity Stones is by traveling through time using the quantum realm. This plane of existence allows people to manipulate physics and matter in a bunch of different ways. We also know from the post-credits scene in Ant-Man and the Wasp that time vortexes are present in this dimension as well. We also know from Thanos' and Doctor Strange's use of the Time Stone that manipulating time is totally possible in the MCU, although the rules for doing so aren't very clear yet. This method of collecting new Infinity Stones would make sense though, as each of the surviving characters have interacted with them on their own adventures. In Captain America: The First Avenger, Captain America battled with Red Skull and Hydra for possession of the Tesseract, which was actually the Space Stone. In Marvel's The Avengers, Iron Man is inches away from the Mind Stone that powers Loki's scepter, and later uses it to create Vision in Age of Ultron. Thor knew the Reality Stone was in possession of the Collector, or could just go back in time and nab it while he was briefly on Asgard. Rocket Raccoon handled the Power Stone quite a bit while it was contained in the orb during the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
We'd like to get paid.
Granted, none of them directly interacted with the Time Stone, but they do know that Doctor Strange possessed it, and Iron Man and Thor interacted with him a bit before Thanos took the stone from the Sorcerer Supreme. TLDR, pretty much every surviving hero can think of 1 or 2 points in time they can visit to nab at least one of these sci-fi space rocks. The only hiccup to this time travel plan, besides the accidental harm it might do to reality, is that none of the Avengers interacted with the Soul Stone. Rocket Raccoon or Nebula can probably deduce that Gamora took Thanos to Vormir to gain the stone, but the only way for the Avengers to collect their own version is by sacrificing a loved one. Even if our heroes are desperate to restore the universe, this kind of trade might be too much for them. Thanos only sacrificed Gamora because he's evil and fanatically committed to his diabolical cause. Moreover, the whole point of the Battle of Wakanda in Avengers Infinity War was that our heroes were unwilling to sacrifice Vision's life to protect the lives of others. It will be fascinating to see how the Avengers deal with this hurdle and if their views on martyrdom changed under the circumstances. One last bit of info that seemingly confirms the use of time travel in Avengers Endgame are the behind-the-scenes photos from its production. These set images show an older Tony Stark and Scott Lang in his Ant-Man suit at what seems to be the Battle of New York from the first Avengers movie. Time travel would explain this photo and really be the easiest way for the Avengers to gain enough power to battle Thanos. There's also another possible explanation for this photo, and a second means for the Avengers to get their own Infinity Stones. They travel to a parallel universe and collect the Infinity Stones over there. While the Marvel Cinematic Universe hasn't really done anything with the idea of multiple universes, this concept has been a part of Marvel Comics for decades. Avengers Endgame could be the movie where the idea is finally implemented in the MCU and used to defeat Thanos. The specifics on how the quantum realm works are still pretty vague, but it seems like it might be a space that exists between realities. To reach it, a person needs to shrink down to the point where they're smaller than atoms, and the energy from the realm has matter-warping effects. It wouldn't be too big of a stretch of the imagination for our heroes to travel to other realities using the quantum realm. The remaining Avengers would collect the stones they were most familiar with in this slightly different universe, as well as the Infinity Gauntlet. The only issue to this method is that the Infinity Stones don't have any power outside of their home universe. That means for this plan to work, the Avengers will either have to lure Thanos into a parallel universe, which would rob his Infinity Stones of their power, or trick him into entering the quantum realm. As this space connects different universes, there's a chance both sets of Infinity Stones will work here. This would allow the Avengers to match Thanos' abilities and likely outwit him so they can take his gauntlet. This alternate universe theory is also likely to play out, as it offers another means to restore the universe to its complete state. As pointed out in our previous video, it's not totally clear that the Infinity Gauntlet has the power to restore half of all life in the universe. Not to mention that merging universes would be a pretty easy way to introduce the X-Men, Deadpool, and the Fantastic Four to the MCU now that Disney owns 21st Century Fox. Previously, 21st Century Fox had movie rights to those properties. Even if the events of Avengers Endgame don't shake out exactly as we've described them, the Avengers are almost certainly going to gather their own Infinity Stones in Endgame. At this point, it really is their only chance of taking on Thanos. He was already leagues above what they could handle in Infinity War, and now he's practically invincible. Unless the movie introduces some new plot device out of left field, another set of Infinity Stones is one of the only chances our heroes have at restoring the universe and reviving their friends. It'd also be a bit of a waste if the Infinity Stones didn't play a role in bringing down Thanos, seeing as how pivotal they were in the lives of the Marvel heroes. Whether it's through time or interdimensional travel, the Avengers are going to get their own Infinity Stones. After years of chasing them down and safeguarding them, it just wouldn't feel like a satisfying conclusion if they didn't use their power for themselves. Even as it draws closer by the day, Avengers Endgame still feels way too far away. April 26th cannot get here fast enough so we can witness the Marvel heroes bounce back from their utter defeat in Infinity War. It's hard to say how it will play out or what long-lasting ramifications the movie will have on the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it's guaranteed to be one hell of an experience. What do you think about the Avengers gathering their own Infinity Stones in Avengers Endgame? Are we onto something, or do you think they'll take down Thanos some other way? Let us know in the comments section down below. While you're there, be sure to like this video and subscribe to Behind the Screen. We have a huge back catalog of videos analyzing other Marvel movies and breaking down some of the biggest characters in the series. We also have plenty more videos like this one coming soon, and we promise you're not going to want to miss any of them. If you hit the bell icon, you'll get a notification every time one of our new videos goes live. That way you'll be able to watch it before anyone else. We upload new videos twice a day, so you have much more to look forward to very soon.